Stay tuned. I'm here with the coach, John Brent.
I'm here with the vet, Mr. Ian Griffin.
And we are here today in beautiful East Texas.
Yes, and the snow's melting.
Yes.
I'm just ready to go see a bunch of people. I went out last night for the first time to eat, and in a week to leave the house, go to the store and eat, and I'm just like, I almost wanted to hug everybody.
Yeah, I was getting cabin fever the other day, and I just had to get in the truck.
You went to Atwood's.
I did.
Something, okay.
Yeah, I went to Atwood's. That was good. Atwood's is good. They got livestock, not livestock, but they got farm animals in there.
Just thank goodness we didn't have to be locked up in a nursing home in New York, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about old Governor Cuomo.
This guy.
Yes. Last year at this time, the Democrats were searching for the golden person. Anybody, as soon as one would pop up, think about this. Hey, Beto made the cover of a magazine.
Then it was
He
Pete.
is the guy.
And it was Pete.
Then it was Pete.
Mayor Pete.
Yeah, Pete couldn't organize his own damn town for shit, but it was Pete. And then after that, they go, maybe we don't have anybody. And Amy Klobuchar came out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you listen to Amy Klobuchar, she's very smart. But she just didn't articulate herself presidential.
And Cuomo was tough on Trump and tough on everybody, so they're like, let's jump on Cuomo.
And it was Cuomo because he was on the news, He had his own news.
Don't forget $200 million Bloomberg.
Yeah. But it was Cuomo because,
he was the guy.
If none of these cats can figure it out, and, they toss Elizabeth Warren aside, which she sounds whiny the whole time. Who would want a person that sounds whiny the whole time as president? That's just me.
Or a yeller like Bernie.
If somebody yells all the time. So you had all these people, and they all had their 2 minutes of, they're it. And they
Cuomo was the one for a while.
It was Cuomo. We're going to get rid of Biden and just put Cuomo in. That was the alternative. He was the guy because he could sit in front of a news camera and look at it.
And lie.
And talk to you and make you feel comfortable, massaging your temples as he tantalizes you. Massaging your temples. And he tantalizes you because he had poise in front of a camera. Yeah, the poise has gone away. Oh, it has. Big time, Coach. It was brought up, though. This is what's crazy. This story surfaced in the summer, but it was quelled down the whole time by most of the major news networks. And you got to give your hats off, whether you like them or not. Fox brought this up in the summer about the fact that, he did this little thing called on March 25th, little policy letter, little order out there in that state, demanding that COVID patients get sent to where? The nursing home.
Right.
Where he had an alternative. He had the comfort sitting out off the coast, off the piers over in Manhattan, that he could have used that he refused to use because that came from the orange man and that would be bad.
I think that's the reason he didn't do it. And it was just sitting out there like, well, we don't even need it. We don't need, we got it handled here. And really, he didn't. He could have used that and saved thousands a lot.
My former unit, my next to last job in the Army was 3rd ESC. That unit was responsible up there for doing things with disaster relief, and they were up there. I talked to the sergeant major who replaced 2 times after me, about it, and we just had conversations. And I won't go into all those, but he had the assets and he refused to use them. Yeah. And Coach, I will say at the end of the day, if you take every politician that everybody has issue with, a beef with, he is the only one that actually has policy that put people to death.
Yeah, people die because of it.
Yes. He is the only one. You can hate President Trump, former President Trump, all you want, but he didn't have a policy that actually caused people to directly die. He did.
No, this guy did. And you know what the bad part about it is this, and I sat there, and I know this is not going to be a long video, but I do want to say I sat there the other day, and when his press conference came on, I was a little bit upset. Well, first I saw it, and I was like, great, I want to hear from him because I didn't even know he was having a press conference. So I'm sitting there watching the press conference, and I'm like, okay, if he's going to apologize, he's going to say, we should have done things different, he wish they would have worked more in concert, done some kind of, I'm sorry, or we could have done more. Yeah. But nope. Within the first minute it's the Republicans' fault. It's these people's fault. It's everybody else's to blame but me. Him. And then I'm like, wonder what, because I turned on, and Fox is first on my going up list. So I'm like, okay, I wonder what MSNBC and CNN are saying about this, because he's just straight up not taking any of the blame at all. I go to CNN and MSNBC, one's talking about vaccinations, and one's talking about something to do with Biden and an executive order. I'm like, they're not even playing this live video. Finally, he's saying something.
His brother won't cover him. You know,
No,
CNN won't touch him with
can't.
him. And after he covered him before and helped prop him up, although his brother chastised Cruz,
Yes.
which I'm okay with that, rightfully so for what Cruz, you know, I mean, it wasn't, whoever his PR guy was needed to go.
Exactly.
Hey,
Dude,
get back
don't
in,
do
let
this.
me get you back in here, come on. But
Of course, it's not on the same level.
they wouldn't even cover him.
No.
You know, and this is one that, I hate to say this term, but he kind of got blood on his hands.
No, he does have blood on his hands. And the problem is, right now with the way the media is he has blood on his hands and they don't care.
Yeah.
What they don't want to do is say he has blood on his hands, because then it will make, because everything's been put in a box. You're either Republican or you're Democrat or you're conservative or liberal. So if a liberal Democrat does something wrong and you say it's wrong, then you're going to have to defend the whole Democratic Party. It's not the way it should be.
No, it shouldn't. He could have saved all of this and said, hey, you know what, at the first of COVID, I made a bad decision and I apologize to them people. But he could have saved everything. He could have saved grace. It would still be bad, but it would not be near as bad as what it's going to be.
No.
So I will
It's
say
almost
this,
like he took it right out of the Trump playbook of don't ever apologize.
right. So this is something I'll say is, Coach, when's the last time you remember a Democrat apologizing?
They don't have to.
I'm gonna name the last one I remember apologizing.
Oh, I know one too.
Now I could be wrong, and I'm all down with. If I am wrong, come at me,
Yeah.
please. Al Franken.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. The comedian that got in trouble.
And what happened?
And they still kicked him to the curb.
They kicked him to the curb.
I think they kicked him to the curb because he did apologize.
Yeah, but he apologized, and he said I was doing flat out jackassery. I was wrong, and then he got gone. And which
You don't have to. And then just a few years later, we had Ellison. That there was pictures of his girlfriend that was beat up. There was a report that he beat her up. He didn't apologize. Totally didn't even talk about it, and he would just say no comment, and they didn't cover it.
Yeah, they won't cover it. And because, he said his piece and he's done. Mm-hmm. But with Cuomo, this ain't going away. FBI investigation is coming. This is not going away. Let me just say this. We did 2 impeachments on a president of the United States, one off of
A fake dossier?
A fake dossier that was done to divert the attention of how bad Hillary Clinton was. That's the bottom line.
Who paid for that dossier?
Oh, Hillary did.
Exactly.
Paid for it. The only one that we know had any real dealings with Russia is her. But we did a whole impeachment on that. This dude here, right here, and we did that, and because we didn't like the tone of how he discussed. Well, let's talk tone of Cuomo. With his people. They said he's nothing more than a mob boss. But we didn't like the president, his tone. When we admired every other president before, and the current one of how he's talked to everybody else across the world. We just didn't like it when this one did it, But now we have this guy who, honestly, and all joking aside, there's people whose family members have died because of this, because of his decision. Janice Dean, the weather reporter for Fox News, really went into this, and she had gotten messages from, it wasn't him, but they think it's from the staff that's saying, you need to tone down. And she lost her mother-in-law and her father-in-law at those nursing homes because of this right here.
I don't remember the guy's name, and I apologize for it, but he was in some kind of meeting or something a few weeks ago, and there was a conference call or something, and Cuomo was saying that they need to say things a certain way and not say what really happened. And he went and said, I'm not going to do it. And Cuomo called him on a Sunday night at home and berated him for 10 minutes and said, you will never, ever be involved in politics in New York if you don't pretty much stay on the narrative.
So what's kind of also crazy, everything's coming out now, of course, on this, is his health advisor for the state has only had a 5-minute conversation with him, and it was live. He's never even talked to him.
Yeah.
He made this policy decision right here off the basis of, because he follows the science, not his health advisor,
He's following the politics of it.
He's following the politics because we never cared about the science to begin with, to be honest.
Yeah. To me, it's a story that's not going away. They will
not.
try, and what I mean they will. The Biden administration, the people involved in that, will do their best for it not to be a big blow up because everything has to be blamed on Trump administration. the people that are in the FBI and things like that, they got to step up because they literally went against Trump on many things when they shouldn't have. Certain rogue people were doing things specifically to try to not let
They
him
were
get
doing
elected.
their own thing instead of following the agencies.
So we'll see if there's really any kind of fairness going on with this. And the media is not going to cover it until it's a bombshell.
And what's a shame is there's estimated at least 1,000 people have died because of this decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what will be even more a shame is the state of New York goes, we want you to be governor another term.
Yeah.
That would be even more a shame.
Because it wouldn't even surprise me.
It would not surprise me because of the nature of that party. I hate to say that is we just cover it up. We don't kick them to the curb. We don't ostracize them. We don't do none of that unless they confess. As long as they don't confess. Because we've seen so many instances of this. You know, we can go get a haircut whenever we want without a mask. And as long as we don't say nothing, we admit to it. We blame somebody else, we're okay. We can sleep with a Chinese spy. We can do that. Yeah. That's okay. And we can have people die. And that's okay. You know, we can have Chinese staff members that were affiliated with a spy agency, work for a senator in California too, and that's okay. All those can be okay as long as...
Well, I hate to reference a movie, but we talked about our top movies not long ago, and a Time to Kill was one of my, I think it was number 2 on my list. It's Matthew McConaughey, and the whole thing is Samuel Jackson shoots 2 rednecks that rapes his daughter.
Yep.
The jury that he has is all white. Of course, they try to burn down Matthew McConaughey. All these things happen, and he's going to get off. He's not going to get off. Samuel Jackson is going to get convicted. And at the very end of that trial, Matthew McConaughey tells the jury to close their eyes. And he says exactly what happened. He says, now imagine if this girl was white. And everybody opens their eyes. Or imagine if the girl was white and Samuel Jackson was white, and people then realize that they're basing it on this. What I'm saying that is this. Imagine if President Trump, back in March, put together a federal mandate that everybody has to go to those nursing homes. And 6 or 8, 10,000 people died because of that policy. Not only would it be an impeachment, there would be more than an impeachment.
So many months back, I sat down with my father and we talked a little bit, and we talked about, he made a comment that, you know, most laws are not geared towards senior citizens.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the comments that Cuomo had made, they were going to die anyhow.
Oh my God.
You know, pretty much. I mean, he didn't say,
right.
he said it where that's what he was getting the message out. They were already sick. They were about to die. You know, they were in God's hands. And, you know, whether it was 20 or it was 400, you know, it's out of his hands, you know. And it goes back to my dad's sentiment is we don't care because they're seniors, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, we just don't. And is that really how New York is? I mean.
No, I don't know. My last thing I'll say on this is I was not even doubting when I turned over to see that he was in a press conference, that there was going to be some type of apology, some type of something just saying, I wish I'd have done things or listened or maybe done a little bit more. But every bit of it was, it's the Republicans.
Yep.
They're the ones doing this. It's nothing. We did perfect. The numbers aren't changed. It's just one to here and one to that. And I thought, imagine if this was turned around on President Trump or somebody else and people died. If
this would have been on President Trump, the rest of the nation wouldn't even known about Texas.
Oh no.
But maybe it could be because we want to make sure the rest of the nation knows about Texas right now because we kind of
imagine if the impeachment vote for Trump was this Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
We just had this whole Texas under a blizzard.
It wouldn't have been anything.
Oh, that still would have been all that focus would have been on that.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is my question. What are voters going to do? Are they going to allow him to be the next governor again on his 4th term? Or is the state going to step up and impeach him, you know? But if he comes to where he's going to be a chance to be elected, or are they going to elect him back into office?
I think so.
That's my question. Because you know what? As long as a Democrat doesn't confess, they're golden.
That's right.
I mean, you just go we can name the laundry list. You can go lie about a video and cause some people to die. You know, whatever. You can just go down the laundry list. Right. As long as you don't confess, you're golden.
Just don't forget our question.
Yes. So, hey, Coach, we got a question here from our fans. And we talked about we're both doing a book.
Yeah.
So we want to know how far along are you on your book?
I'm about 15 pages in. I got a whole lot more I can write about. I just kind of got stuck.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and say this week I'm going to get back on it again.
I'm about 38 pages in, and I go in spurts.
Overachiever.
Yeah, I guess. I go in spurts, and I won't write for 7 days or so, or 10 days, and then I'll write.
Sometimes I just wonder, what cannot put in there?
Yeah, so I think we have to make personal decisions.
I want the PGG version.
Yeah. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I'm not that type of guy too much,
Or maybe we should.
Yeah, and just step on, call the title of the books, Step on the Gas, or Stomp on It More, or something like that.
Yeah, I told you. You get karma. That's
So anyway.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, we are going to release some books out this summer or sometime this summer.
Yeah.
We're hoping. And I think we'll be there. It'll be late summer, but we're going to be there. And it'll be kind of cool. But let us know what you think about Cuomo. We want to hear that for sure.
Yeah, we want to hear about that. And the question that Ian asked was a good one. Do you think he will be reelected, and do you think he'll be impeached, or both?
Yeah. Or do you think that he shouldn't, and you think he's like the greatest thing on earth?
Wow, I want somebody to tell me that.
Yeah, because I'm not buying that for a dollar. Not
All
at
right.
all. So, hey,
All right.
from the coach,
To the vet.
stay tuned.